Man, I had to sneeze. Ooh. I'm gonna give y'all some of my 3 cents, man, on some of this current events. You know, and yeah. So let's get it on out the way. So we're gonna talk about ICE. I ain't really hit on it. So I'm gonna talk to y'all about ICE real quick. And this whole how, Alex getting, gunned down by him. It's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? And this type of thing could have happened with ICE, your local police, your sheriff, highway patrol. This kind of thing could happen, with any type of law enforcement. But I would say the one thing that people are not really bringing up is the professionalism and shit like that. Like, what were they doing at the time to where they needed to confront that lady and push her to the ground? Me, I'm thinking that if you're going to go arrest a immigrant high value target, right, and you see other people gathering around and stuff like that, I would think the professional thing to do, and the right thing to do, tactically speaking, is to not break ranks and stray away from your comrades. You know what I'm saying? And to engage in something that can incite the situation and or take your focus off the situation and the safety of your comrades. You know what I'm saying? Like, did they already have the guy in custody? Was their mission complete? And you know what I'm saying? This is just my 3 cents. All of this is my opinion, right? Because you can't be having, this is just my 3 cents. I don't know if they're doing it or not, but you can't have a group of people in tactical gear, right, with sappy plates and plate carriers and drop pouches and stuff like that. You can't have these dudes. What's up, Derek Bailey? You can't have these dudes walking around like a bunch of pack of wild dogs. Because the theory, to me, is the reason why they wearing all this tactical gear and having ARs besides pistols like your regular law enforcement is because it's a show of force. And it's to scare, deter people from reacting to them. That's the reason why. Because why else would they spend $1,000 just for the plate carrier, $1,000 or $2,000, because that's how much it's going to cost for 2 sappy plates, the armor plates inside the plate carrier, side plates, that's about another $500, and then all the other accessories that go on the vest, that right there's another $300. The half shells that they're wearing with all this, the half shells alone is about $1,500-$1,600. The helmet that they wear, the accessories just alone for that, including the hearing protection that they're using that has the comms, 2-way or 3-way comms, that alone by itself is $1,000 plus. The radios are probably around $2,000, $3,000. Probably even more than that if they're using the real deal ones. Those are like $10,000-$15,000 a piece. So they're wearing all this fucking gear plus getting $50,000 for a signing bonus. And nobody's questioning their signing bonus and saying, well, how many years do they have to work for ICE or Border Patrol in order for it to get that $50,000? Do they get it all in one sum, or do they get it all in 4 payments? You know what I'm saying? Because to me, even when that lady was killed, I wouldn't have been walking around her fucking car. I would have been on the driver's side, talking to her, asking her to leave. Maybe even blocking traffic so she can leave. Not sticking my nose in some shit because I feel that I'm trying to do my job and I'm being disrespected. You know? Remember that, and this all goes down to leadership. But this is all my 3 cents. Because I remember when Katrina happened, that the black general came in and got all the motherfuckers in line. They was out there pointing weapons at civilians. They was out there beating up civilians. They was out there doing shit he went down there and he calmed that shit down quick. Quick. What's up, Bruce? Yeah, blood money. That's pretty much. He went down there and I don't know his name. I forget his name, but he went down there and he nipped that motherfucking shit in the butt. Quick. You know? And you see these guys, they're not trying to give civilians an inch. They damn near want to give these dudes full reign to do anything that they want to without no repercussions. Because normally, if a local police officer shot somebody or killed somebody, they automatically take the dude's gun and sit his ass down and until everything gets figured out. What we seeing with this shit is they're just patting them on. It seems like they just patting them on the back and sending them somewhere else. Sending them somewhere else so they could do the exact same thing because nobody is putting the fear of law in these guys' minds. They're allowing them to do that in my opinion. Bruce said, "What's up, Derek?" That's just my opinion. You know, because when I took my black ass to Iraq, you know, they gave you these standing orders, use of force orders, basically. Now, I forget all of them, but the one that stuck out to my mind was that these motherfuckers said the Iraqis can point a gun at you, they can appear hostile, but unless we give y'all the order or they shoot at you, you are not to shoot back. Now, there are a few people that, you know, that got scared, rightfully so, and bucked at them, but luckily they didn't hit nobody. You know what happened to them? You know what? They got in trouble. They got sent the fuck home. They got sent the fuck home. Sent the fuck home. You mean to tell me I could be in a war zone and everybody got fucking guns and you can see them? I wouldn't really necessarily call it a war zone, but during that time, unless you were actually involved in missions, but you could see their weapons. They got them out in the open. And they could point that motherfucker at you all goddamn day. And they knew it. And they fucking knew it. They knew they could harass us. They could try they could try to intimidate us. They could point lasers at us, attempt to try to block the vehicles. But we the ones who had we the ones who had to show the utmost level of fucking professionalism and what's that other word? There's another word that I want to use. Professionalism and professionalism, restraint, and discipline. You know? You go to the U.S. Soda and MWR on base. The number one commercial is complacency fucking kills. And then you come up over here and you see that local law enforcement, and they always have had the ability, we treated people in other countries better than our own people, basically what I'm trying to say. Better. And the crazy thing about it is the checklist for police killing somebody and justifying it is all out there for public fucking knowledge. It's all out there for public knowledge. The blueprint, it's out there. The checklist is already out there. First thing smoking, fear for their lives. He had a gun. What's up, y'all? I'm going to this small ass town, and the signal sometimes be jumpy. I lost 5 people in the chat. It's all good though. Thanks y'all for showing up. You know, I got like a little bit of love. You know what I'm saying? At least I got like a little bit of love from somebody. You know, in a very situation, hostile situation, where they had to think on the fly, and new officers have never had to do that. And if you have had to do that, you know, you see what I'm saying. You know, I think some of these, it's kind of like almost, they don't want you to believe. It's kind of like, just my 3 cents, that they're projecting that that these protesters and that these immigrants are like lesser than human beings. Yeah, I know, Bruce, man. I'm going to the small ass town. Like they're projecting like they're lesser than human beings, in that they could just do this shit. I mean, but this is what people got to understand is, like, when they go to this training and shit, Nobody know what they trying to instill in their mind. You know? You know? They not saying do this shit with a soft but heavy hand. Damn for sure not that. Hold on, I gotta turn on this motherfucking heat on these toes. There we go. I gotta turn on the heat on these motherfucking toes, man. Yeah, I choose tobacco and shit. I don't even know the speed limit on this motherfucker. Flying like a motherfucker too. And then the notion that he had a gun with 2 clips. I don't go around. I always have 2 clips on me. What's the purpose of having a gun and you ain't got enough ammo? And 2 clips might not be an ammo for the unfortunate situation that you might get put in. Because the situation might just dictate that you just need to get them up off you. You need to keep these dudes at bay until the cavalry come in. You might not be the best shot in the world like John Wick and all these cats on these motherfucking movies and shit. You might not be them. Let's say, for instance, you got what? 10, 14, 15, 16 bullets. You know? In one clip, if it's a small little concealed carry thing, it might only have 8. The one he had appeared to be a 9. And I think that had about like what, 16, maybe 18 in one clip. You know? All right, about to hit this highway. Kalamazoo College, where they going? Oh, ain't nobody on there. That ain't that important, dude. That you got to get in the right-hand turning lane to because you don't want to slow down. You know? Hold up, let me take a sip of this coffee. I'm trying to get my feet warm because I had the defrosters on and that motherfucker took away from the feet heat. Yeah, I'm saying all this shit to say, man, like, you know, for the people that saying is not justified or is justified, that, you know, the sad part is that we might not even get down to the bottom of it because of the way that they want to do these investigations. Like, it took them to give them first aid, basic life saving, and the list goes on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Were they fully qualified to even be conducting those things, or did their use of deadly force paperwork expire? You know, did their gun qual expire? Did any type of training expire? What was their past infractions? You know, and the list goes on. Like, we would never know. You know, and some people out here, they just don't give a fuck. You know, they don't care. You know, and the crazy thing about it is that You know, if it was their kinfolk, you know, they wouldn't be saying this shit. You know, if it was their kinfolk, they wouldn't be saying this shit. You know, that's the real naughty part about it. Am I? Can y'all hear me? Hopefully y'all can hear me. That's the real nasty, crazy part about all this mess. You know, and the whole thing on how precious life is. You know, on multiple aspects. You got people trying to come up over here for a better way of life. And then some of them that do come up over here, they fuck it all up for the rest of them. Raping, DUI, killing people, breaking into people's houses, shooting at people, doing, you know, criminal activity. You know, fuck it up for the rest of them. And people don't see how precious life is. You know, and I don't, or they might not even just think about that. You know, probably they don't care. As long as the one particular narrative is being projected. You know, they called Obama the deporter in chief. And then they try to compare that to what's going on right now. This is all my 3 cents. Then they try to compare all that. And then you see how nasty it is. It's a direct reflection of leadership. People say they didn't see nobody protesting Obama. People did protest Obama. And matter of fact, they protested to his face. And he hurt them. You know? But the difference is, to me, is that at least during Obama they had guard rails. But now there is no guardrails, and these motherfuckers could walk around like Judge motherfucking Dredd. They're walking around like Judge motherfucking Dredd. I am the motherfucking law. Sentence you right there on the spot. Turn your lights off permanently. Permanently. You know? And what do you expect, man? What do you expect? Now the Epstein files came out, huh? Well, more of them. And I don't even think this is all of them. I remember it like yesterday, somebody saying that you can't trust it. At first we're gonna release the files and all that shit, then all of a sudden we can't trust the files because we don't know that they were tampered with. So you mean that whole time this person, this is all my 3 cents. This guy had his personal lawyer probably have people go all through this shit. Probably take some of the key things that he don't want in there. Or probably have plausible deniability because people have some unwritten agreement to do it regardless of the fact. You know? Yeah, Bruce. You absolutely right, Bruce, and everybody is just supposed to shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and take it. You know? Shut the fuck up. Like, you know what they say, Bruce? Take this damn thing off. Damn, sweating. What they say, Bruce, they said basically, this is what we voted for. So just let him do what he want to do, even if it's against the law, against the rules. And then they kind of hide behind, well, we got advice from whoop de whoop whoop. So we're going to go with this. That's advice from a lawyer is the same thing. That doesn't mean you can do it. They just hide behind that, and then when the thing goes all the way down, what happens? When the shit hits the fan, those lawyers are going to end up just like the same as Rudy Giuliani, with his law license revoked. Get thrown under the bus. Because all it takes is for you to do one thing against the grain. That's all it takes for you to do one thing against the grain, and you're excommunicate, whatever they call that shit from John Wick. Gone. Yeah, my old ass is driving 2 hours, going to my old teams, old semi-pro football teams, football tryouts. They ain't gonna cut the old geezer, but I'm gonna go there. I'm out of shape. Good thing I quit smoking cigarettes, but I'm out of shape. But I'm gonna go there and see what these young bulls, give them the litmus test. You know, give them the litmus test. Yeah. So I'm in Michigan, so everything is they got indoor. They got like these blow up big ass tents that can fit a whole soccer field in there. And they normally that's where all the kids go to get their baseball training up, their soccer training up before the season start. You know, get them kids right. And I tell people all the time, man, that's one of the best things to do if your kid is real athletic in any sport. I don't care if it's fucking tennis, badminton, water polo, or whatever. Take their ass during the downtime and take them to them camps, man. They got cheap ones, free ones, expensive ones, but you know, that one little, that extra push might help them learn about themselves, give them some discipline, show them that with hard work, and how Floyd Mayweather like to say, hard work and dedication, you know, you can achieve your goals, you know. But those Epstein files, man, I don't think we'll ever get down to the bottom of it. I think the only way to get down to the bottom of it moving forward is if they did the same thing. They did the same thing that happened with P. Diddy. Not P. Diddy, Bill Cosby. If they did the same thing, like you know how with Bill Cosby, how all that shit was sealed, and then they unsealed the shit, and then how in the P. Diddy case, even the people who were given immunity, and according to Giselle Maxwell, there was a whole bunch of people that got immunity. So unless that happens, we never get down to the bottom of it, because those people, the people who were part of the original sentencing that got off because they squealed or whatever, you know, They need to they need to be answering for this shit. They need to they you got okay, cool, hide their identity. But ultimately, that's what the American people need to know. What they said. Because nobody really knows for a fact, like with bona fide proof and all that stuff, how big this shit is. You know? Nobody knows really how big this shit is. And this shit is bigger than Nino Brown. You know? Because what if Giselle and Epstein, what if they wasn't the big honchos? What if they wasn't? What if they was the pimps or the scouts, the pedo handlers, and everybody was paying big money, and this is how he was getting them. This is how he was bankrolling everything, and blackmailing people and shit like that. What if that's what it is? Well, we'll never know. Because all those people, there's a whole bunch, like 10, 12, 15, 20 people, testimony that's never been heard. And I'm pretty sure they got the audio and the video. And I don't see how, and this is just me, man, like, cases like these should not be behind closed fucking doors. None of it. Nobody should get fucking immunity. It should be, you tell us the fuck what you know, and we'll think about it. It shouldn't be, I'm gonna send my lawyer to go, my own private lawyer, to go talk to Giselle Maxwell and then move her to a more comfortable fucking bed. Even if she wasn't the mastermind or anything of that sort, she should still burn. And the real crazy thing about it is, I guarantee you, when that girl, if she was to get a pardon, I guarantee you, some of the same folks that's out here talking shit about her and ostracizing her and all that shit will be doing business with her. Oh man, I was just, I had to, I had to. You know how it is. It's just business, baby. The same people. Talk about full circles. Like, people don't want to, like, all of a sudden, everybody want to, the FBI and all these cats, this is my 3 cents, want to throw out there, oh, look how many kids we saved and this and the third, but you can't bring these motherfuckers to justice for these kids, and all the shit is right there in front of you. You're not even talking to the parents, they friends, trying to see like how it all went down. Could they remember something? A phone number, a face, a name, an agency, a business name, something? No. It's the most mind-boggling thing in the world. The documents show that there were kids involved, minors. The documents show that. And only 2 people went to jail. It's the same shit like that Diddy case. Like that Diddy case. Makes absolutely no fucking sense. He the only one go to jail. You got people out there bringing the drugs, threatening people, you know, and he the only one. The men hoeing themselves out, the ladies hoeing themselves out for money. They always doing drugs willingly because they was doing drugs before they met P. Diddy. You know, 16 years old, hanging around grown-ass men. What's up, El Foul player of Brooklyn? You know? Now, let's go back into this. Now, Tank Davis. Now, I don't know if he's going to jail for the old video of him snatching his baby moms out of that basketball gym or something new, wherever the case may be. But he got that break a bitch off gene. He got the break a bitch off gene in him, you know. And I hope no one's acting like this surprised about this shit. Like, I hope no one's acting surprised about this. Like, there's nothing surprising about what Tank Davis do with his hands outside of the boxing ring. You know, there's nothing surprising about it. You know, what he does with his hands outside the boxing ring. And we see how it all go down, man, in court. You know, let's see how it all go down after all this. You know, I don't want to insinuate it all happened after he got that one big check for the Ryan Garcia fight or whatever the case may be, but you know, we're gonna see how it all goes down in court. You know, I suspect that it's gonna go down two ways. He's gonna have to do time. He's gonna do like at least a year or two. Or he gonna be let off. And that's just what it is. And that'd be just what it is. You know. This whole Dana White and what's it called? Zuffa Boxing. Now I know there's boxing fans out there that want something to be done about boxing. Some people say anything new is better than nothing that's going on. But I'm telling y'all, and it's not going to go well for boxers. It's just not. It's just not going to go well for boxers. You know, and for people to think that it is, it's not. Zuffa, Dana White and them, Turki Al-Sheikh wants to amend the Muhammad Ali Act. They don't need to modify the Ali Act to do what they're doing. They need to modify the Muhammad Ali Act because they want to be the promoter, manager, advisor, all wrapped into one. That's what they want. They want all the money to come to them first, and they do the payout. And there was something surprising years ago when Barry, no, what's his name? Barry White, Edward Hearn's daddy. What's his name again? When he got up there and said, I think it was him. When he got up there and said there was a time to where the fighter called us Mister. You see what I'm saying? There was a time when the fighter called us Mister. You see what I'm saying? But now I have to call him Mr. White. Barry Hearn, yeah. Remember that? Now, I'm all for how they constructed fights back in the days. And the golden era of boxing. But I will say this. There ain't that many good fighters like there was back in the days. There ain't none. And the reason why, these motherfuckers are soft. These motherfuckers are soft. They don't train the same. They didn't come up the same. A lot of these motherfuckers would have been weeded out. And there's a lot of deer out here. Would have been weeded out a long time ago. You would never heard of a fucking Christopher Lovejoy. A lot of these fighters, you wouldn't even heard of them back in the days. They would have been weeded out. But there wasn't no protection squad out there with these teams. And a lot of these young fighters, ooh, I almost missed my exit. I almost missed my motherfucking exit talking to y'all. Yeah. I went over them double lines and everything. Woo! I was gone. I was gone, baby. I was gone. Yeah, hit that, them turbochargers kicked in. Yeah. Yeah, they would have been weeded out a long time ago, bro. You know, they would have had like 30 fights before they even got a whiff of a championship belt. These cats, they come up so fast that they haven't even matured as a fighter yet. Because there's so many not so good fighters out there, or fighters that are just lacking a little bit of fucking defense, you know, and proper training. They get over on them. It looks good. But then when they get up in there and actually fight somebody, they have to run around the ring on a bicycle. You ain't never seen that many runners, bicycles, track stars, and boxing. And then again, these motherfuckers are so lazy now, they don't even use bicycles. They're on an electric bicycle. They're on an electric bicycle. They ain't even got a pedal. They just press the button and it goes in gear. Get you up to 30 miles an hour without breaking a motherfucking sweat. There ain't that many. And then the fighters that are out there, they put us in this like illusion thing. Like, oh yeah, the next fight. Oh yeah, the next fight gonna be the big one. Oh yeah, he finally gonna fight somebody that you want to see. Oh yeah, the next fight. Oh yeah, the next. And then they point the finger at each other. And then they make boxing, some of these boxing fans pick a fucking side. You ain't on their motherfucking team. You know? got us motherfucking negotiating for you on fucking the internet like a bunch of fucking idiots. You know? Because we want to see this shit. There's been boxing fans that died waiting on Crawford versus fucking Spence. Rest in peace, Kurt. Died. He even said it. He might not even see the fight before he leaves this earth. Because the way how boxing is. And then come to find out, it had nothing to do with no other side of the street. It had nothing to do with this. It had nothing to do with that. And it seemed like the only thing it had anything to do with was just fucking egos and people waiting for to boost the bubble up so they can get all this money. And then Spence, I know he kicking himself in the ass because he know his best shot was before the accident. He know his best shot was before the car accident. And he know it. He know he ain't the man what he used to be. So it's kind of like y'all robbed. It's kind of like they robbed the fighters a bit. They kind of robbed us by having us wait. You know? Ooh, that was some tough win right there. That was some tough win right there on the highway. Yeah. Then you got Deontay Wilder. Who he fighting? It's a good fight. But it's just my opinion. You know, everybody knows. You know, when... And this is one thing I don't understand about fighters. Deontay Wilder's weakness is not a fighter coming forward. His weakness is him giving the back of his fucking ear open. His weakness is backing straight, going straight back. His weakness is that he got a trainer telling him, since he's so fucking tall, he don't need to bend with his front foot to get low. Just stay high. But what did Stewart say? He said, yeah, keep standing high if you want to. Motherfuckers gonna keep throwing rocks at the windows. Throwing rocks at the windows. The lack of jab. You know? The lack of a fucking jab, bro. Like, come on. You're throwing punches from the shoulders. I mean, not from your shoulders. He throwing punches from his pecs, his chest. Now, ain't nothing really wrong with it if you land and it's really effective where the person can't throw nothing back, but it just leaves you fucking open. Throwing punches from your pecs. Man, oh man. He gonna have to do something, man, because Derek Chisora is the wild dude, and them overhands might land, bro. One of them overhands might land, and I tell people all the time, there's two things that happens. You know, with these people who want to gauge chins. You can't sit there and in one fight, you can't sit there and take punches like that all goddamn day. Second of all, over time, that just gonna fuck you up. Over time, you keep taking punches like that, your chin durability go down. And it's just what it is. You know, people say Tyson Fury got a chin. He don't got a chin. Zali Zane. I'm gonna give out my who I think got the best chins right now. And they really don't. They're just good at masking it. They're just good at masking that they do have a chin. You know, the Juggernaut, Joe Joyce, Zali Zhang. There's another one who got a chin, but they're just good at masking it. They got good, sturdy ass motherfucking legs. They get hit. Tyson Fury's good at masking it. Until finally somebody cracked that bitch. You see how he looked? It didn't even look like he was hurt. The way he was moving. When Usyk got him, it looked funny, didn't it? But that's how it looks. That's how it looks. He want to move, but the legs ain't trying to. He want to move, but the legs just say, oh, nope. The legs ain't moving. Joe Joyce, same thing. Legs is done. They don't want to move. Zali Zane, same thing. Watch. You know? Watch them knees and them legs. They good up to a certain point because can't nobody take no punches like that. No more. And I think the last dude, probably not even the last dude. Bruce probably know, but the last dude that I seen that was in the sport of boxing that fought at the highest of levels. Well, it doesn't matter what level he fought at, right? But I'm talking about the level of punishment. And the air, George Foreman. George Foreman. You see the punches that motherfucker took during his heyday? Then you see when he came out of retirement, the type of punches he took out of his heyday? And then you see him talk and do interviews and do infomercials. Man, that's some cold genetics. That is some straight up hardcore genetics mixed with proper training and fucking just extremely motherfucking hard work. And then none of these cats ain't got it. That's what I'm saying all this stuff like because I don't see how you go into a fight knowing what you lacking, knowing everybody know what your weaknesses is, and you don't try to work on it. You don't try to play the chess game and have them go after your weaknesses and put them in the trap. You got a trainer out there, oh, we gonna take our time, we gonna fill them out. And then we gonna land the right hand that we throw damn near 100% of the time. Then you're not throwing it right. It's always telegraphed. And some of them ain't. And especially when he knocked the motherfuckers out. But well, there's some ones he knocked him out. He did telegraph the hell out of that shit. But they put themselves in a bad position. They couldn't do nothing but brace for impact. You know? Yeah, man. I'm saying all that to say, man. Some of this shit is just 15, 20, and $30 million on the line. I don't care. $500,000 on the line. I don't care. On the line. I don't care. Your reputation on the line. And you can't get ready for a fight. And back to Zuffa. Why does Zuffa want to amend the Muhammad Ali Act but don't want to put in the same day weigh-in, and they were so concerned about making boxing better than what it is, and making it fair for fighters. Huh? The same day weigh-ins, I think they can still do that whole bullshit the day before to gauge where the dude is at, to get him right for the day of the fight. But all this allowing these motherfuckers to rehydrate and blow up and have all these advantages and these what are you doing? What are you doing, bro? Can't you see we all fucking, you're not going nowhere. They gotta bring it back, man. They need to bring it back. They need to bring it back. They need to get rid of weight clauses. They need to get rid of that shit. They need to get rid of that. They need to put that shit in there. Because I don't think weight should have a what do y'all call that thing? Weight shouldn't be used advantage for a fighter. It should be you come in this weight, and that's it. Same day, early morning, and then they could have admitted they could have put something in there for the gloves. So there wouldn't be, so it'd make it harder to have all these arguments about horsehair and foam and foam therapeutic gloves and all that shit. Fix that shit. Fix the ring. This is the only mat that you can use. Mat shouldn't be used as an advantage for a fighter. It shouldn't be, I'm a slow fighter and he a fast fighter, so let's go ahead and put some extra foam in the mat so to slow him down. None of that. None of that shit. Hotel accommodations. Promoters shouldn't be putting fighters in bad hotel rooms knowing that they ain't gonna get no sleep just so they can fuck with them. You know, a lot of shit that could be amended. Get rid of there should be a championship belt and I'm the mandatory belt, and that's it. That's it. And that's it. That's it. That's it. It shouldn't. All the other shit can go out the window, bro. Yep. Well, didn't they say Anthony Joshua was supposed to have with Herkovic or something like that? You know what I haven't heard in a minute? Mr. Boxing Today. I haven't heard him in a minute. I'm gonna go and look for his channel, man. I ain't heard that dude in a minute, man. Cool dude. Cool dude. Cause I'm kind of like him, man. I do like the heavyweights more. You know what I'm saying? I do like the heavyweights more. I do like it more. I want to see what's going. Well, they're gonna have to do something this year. They're gonna have to do something this year with boxing, bro. Like boxing probably should just go on and be on Amazon or Netflix, and because ESPN and is not cutting They gotta give the consumers an easy route of watching fights. You know, the majority of people got Netflix or Prime, so that should be a no-brainer. That should be a no-brainer. The zone shit never came over here, you know, and they're on life support. The zone is on life support. I don't care what anybody say. You know, they might not get, especially with I think Turkey Al-Sheikh is trying to get. I think that's gonna be. I think they're going the zone in America is going to shit. I can't speak for anywhere else, but ain't nobody really watching that shit, bro. Unless the zone could do a deal, like how to do a deal with Netflix or Prime, and it'd be with your bundle for Netflix. That'll probably be their best bet. Or maybe the zone's whole thing was to get bought out in the end. And it'd just be like you go on the Disney and you see you got Hulu and everything attached to it now. So yeah. That's one thing about summer pro football, man. Like, you don't get paid to do this shit. Do it for the love of the sport, to compete, and all that stuff. You know, but you got to travel. You got to put gas in the tank. You know, and all that shit. So, on my speed. On my speed. I just noticed that shit. I thought I was going like 60 miles an hour. And I wasn't. So, I don't know, bro. What else we got? Ain't it Shakur and T.O. tonight? I think that's about time. I was never a fan of Kambosos. I didn't think he was never all that. He got lucky getting that belt and all that shit. I always figured he was gonna lose the belt straight away. You know, and I think that's a good ass fight, man. I got to figure out how I'm gonna watch it tonight. I got to figure out how I'm gonna do that. Yeah, my body's sore already, man. Worked out all week. Waited to the last minute to get in shape for this shit. And it is what it is. He probably ran out of gas. Yeah. What else we got? Oh yeah, the whole Don Lemon thing, man. Yeah, the Don Lemon thing, man. That's some I think arresting him is some bullshit. Uh, I think arresting Don Lemon is some bullshit, and the other journalists is some bullshit. But hey, you know, I didn't think he did it knowing that he was breaking the law. I don't think anyone did it thinking that it was going to break the law, because ain't nobody never heard of that law until that day. I think it's superficial to come out there and say, well, attacks on church will not be tolerated. There's a whole bunch of other shit out here that shouldn't be fucking tolerated. You know? And the law that they're using is not even for this type of shit that they're you know, I think it's a bunch of BS. And I know people want to say, well, what about January 6th? Well, that was apples and oranges. You know, and even then, I said I don't think the journalist should be arrested. You know, should have been arrested, but once they were told to leave, then I think that's when breaking the law came into play. You know, but January 6th and that group running into a church and having journalists videotape it, that's apples and oranges, bro. It's apples and oranges. I don't care what anybody says. I really don't. Kiss my natural born black ass. You know, I think it's and it is. And it is. I mean, in my 3 cents, I mean, there's no way around to sniff it, to say like this is not vindictive. There's no way around to sniff it. If you would direct the DOJ to go after the people who ran up in that church and the journalists, then how come you pardon people during January 6th? You know, it's like you telling on yourself. Like the blueprint is out there, like everything is written on this. All this is about 3 cents. But all it written on the wall, all of it is written on the wall. And people don't give a fuck. You know? Until it's their time. Until it's their time. You know? And I'm gonna tell y'all this. This is my fucking theory. With the journalists, with the stuff with the immigration, illegal immigration, whatever you want to call it, the presidential acts, these Epstein files, going after Brock, going after Hillary and Bill, going after everybody on the other side of the aisle. creating these weird laws and shit like that. I'm telling you, all of this is to justify a means to an end. And the means to the motherfucking end will be him running again. Because why would you imagine this? Why would anybody vote for J.D. Vance, president? Like, what's the statistics of? Well, right now we don't really know who's running, who's going to be, if he runs, or who's going to run against him, right? But the only reason why you would vote for J.D. Vance is if you thought that Trump was going to be in charge. That's the only reason why. That's just my 3 cents. Because I don't see it any other way. I don't. You know, you put people in that's willing to do your bidding. From judges, law enforcement. You hold off on the Epstein files. Still, it's not all out. And so, you know, now even when, what's his name? The lawyer, Jack Smith. Even Jack Smith pretty much has a gag order on him. So they pranced Jack Smith into these hearings. They pranced him around into these hearings. Knowing now, well, Jack Smith cannot talk about everything in the Trump's documents case. Because the judge has it sealed. Make that make sense to you. Make that make sense on how an indictment works. Make that make sense. Make this make sense. Right? You pull somebody in front of you pull up a grand jury. The grand jury doesn't even have Don Lemon's lawyer in there. Right? Doesn't even have Don Lemon, doesn't even have a representative from Don Lemon. It's just the prosecutor, the grand jury, and the judge. Make that make sense. He did the same thing with Comey, did the same thing with Letitia James, and what happened? They said 2 hours was missing. 2 hours of audio video was missing. What? How? What and how? And then they also said that the evidence that was put forward wasn't even put forth in good faith. There was a whole bunch of shit that was left out. Yeah. And that's the reason why when they tried to bring the grand jury and shit back up again, that's the reason why the grand jury said no. Wasn't the fucking judge. It was the grand fucking jury. The grand jury said fucking no. You know why the fuck they said no? Because there wasn't fucking enough. There wasn't a fucking enough for probable cause to go to court. And then why make this make sense. Why do you need a grand jury? Okay, makes this make sense. Okay, cool. You got the grand jury, right? You're going after. I think this is taking me the back way. Fuck. Yeah, it is. I used to live in Saginaw, so I think it's taking me the back way. So now I got to go past my old job. Yeah, it is. Remember this gas station, and then up the road a little bit, I'm gonna go past this river where I used to fish at. I wouldn't even call it a river. It's more like a stream. It ain't that deep. Yeah, bro, this is my old neck of the woods, yo. Damn. Feels like yesterday, man. I used to come down through these motherfuckers, man. Damn, bro. Back in the Sag Nasty. Yeah. And then what's the whole point? Did you even have to arrest him at his house? You know what I'm saying? Like, did you? Because it seemed like the way it all went, it seemed like he's not a flight risk. He ain't going nowhere. He knows that you guys are probably fucking coming. I'm glad this car in front of me, because I was definitely gonna shoo right through this small town. I was gonna light this motherfucking town up. I was gonna make the motherfucking earth beneath me crumble. Yeah, almost all these bars. Yo, yeah, I'm back. I'm going to this small ass fucking town, so yeah. Oh, that's where I'm at. I'm in Birch Run. I'm not even in Saginaw. Yeah, I'm in Birch Run. Yeah, man. Yeah, and there's some different things over here, man, on this road. Let's see. Yeah. Yep. Sag Nasty. No, I ain't the river. Yeah, man. I think it's a damn shame. Saginaw's finest. Yeah. That's why I don't think they should be going, man. I just think it's a bunch of bullshit. They didn't have to go and arrest that man. They could have just sent him a warrant. They just issued a warrant and have him come show up. You know, but it's like they want to make this whole spectacle. You know? About it. And then so what if he go to jail? So what if he found fucking guilty of it? So what? You only gonna help him? It's only gonna help him. Look at Alex Jones. That dude ain't skipped a beat. He ain't skipped a beat. And I think that same very law that's used against Don Lemon is the same law that they broke walking into the Capitol. Yeah. They intervene in government officials conducting government fucking business. I'm just saying. And they got all smooth. And some of them out there, they pedos. So let that fucking sink in. See, in Birch Run, you got a lot of this farmland around here. It's kind of like on the outskirts of the, but They got some nice houses over here, big ones, for about like 130, 120. Big ones with land on it. You know, you could probably put a couple of concrete slabs, some plumbing and shit, electrical, and rent some RV space out for $500-$600 a month. Utilities included, but cable. Just saying, bro. Then you could probably make you a storage section for boats and shit. Get you some cows, get you 2 cows or something, some goats, some chickens. Rent some of your land out for the farmer next to you so he can use your shit so he can make some money. I'm just saying, bro. Yep. On the outskirts of the town too. I went to a party. Well, I had to do private security at a party like that on their own farmland and shit. And surprisingly, the police was called. I don't know how that works, because couldn't nobody hear the loud noise or anything. But yeah, do what you want. Just shoot in your backyard as long as you 50 feet or 100 feet away from the highway, from the road. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man, like I said, damn shame. Damn shame, bro. This shit ain't gonna end well for none of us. You know? Because we can't even, it's crazy how most of us, we can't even stick together for basic fucking needs, necessities. You know? We can't even stick together for healthcare, education, school lunches. You know, these roads, these highways, these bridges. You know, how much of these colleges are raping people right now? Interest rates. You know, for buying a car or a house or just a credit card in general. You know? Can't even stick together for that shit. You know, but it seems like the more they can keep us confused and thinking about shit that ain't got nothing to do with nothing, the more they can keep getting away with it. You know, the more they can keep getting away with it. Because I'm not no one party over the other type of dude. I don't call myself a Democrat, don't call myself a Republican, don't call myself a liberal, don't call myself a conservative, don't call myself nothing. And I don't go around calling people shit. Calling people out of their name and shit by some political affiliation. Or because of their or political ideology. I don't do that. And on that note, shout out to the whole entire world and everybody stay sucker free. Peace.